1, 2, 3.
Hello, welcome to Rock the Cash Bar. I'm Ben Mowbray.
And I'm Diane Gallagher.
Every week we pick one song and do a deep dive into the lyrics and explain the different ways they've been interpreted.
We will also discuss how the song connected to us on a personal level, focusing on all the embarrassing details.
Glad to have you here. Enjoy the show.
Diane, I was cat sitting.
What?
I was cat sitting for my friend Rebecca. You've met her. She's a friendly witch. So I was cat sitting for her. And she, in her front room, has a stripper pole.
Oh, shoot, Ben.
Yeah. Have you ever been alone with a stripper pole before?
No, I haven't.
It's impossible to resist its power. Impossible. It's like the One Ring or the Last Donut Hole. I defy you. You're left alone with a stripper pole, you'll do what I did. Everybody would. I didn't take my clothes off or anything weird like that, but I did definitely go for a couple of spins around it. You know they rotate? I didn't know they rotate. I'm that dumb. I thought that was just something that strippers did magically, but no, they rotate themselves. So you just get on your swing.
So much sense now.
I know, I was kind of relieved. I was like, okay, they're not incredible gymnasts. This can be done by normal people. But normal people, not me. I'm not normal. Like I was riding on the stripper pole and I fell off and I bumped my head. And I really did think like massive cranial injury, just broken skull, lying on the floor dead, a cat eating my brains, and then my family having to tell that story for the whole rest of their lives. Like, what happened to Ben? Well,
We're just
funny story.
The eulogy and just get
I mean, like the best way to go out, like leave on a big laugh. And what a funeral. Like, can you imagine a funeral? It's just like everybody's just kind of quietly giggling. It's a shame what happened to him. Just like trying to take it seriously. Like, he did what? Yeah, he got drunk and fell off a stripper pole. That's the most Ben thing I think I have ever heard.
That's wonderful, Ben. That's great.
Just all of my, not surprised in the slightest.
Oh,
Can't resist stripper poles. Hey, we're going to a dark place today.
Oh.
Yeah. Right. We're going to the late 90s. Are you ready to go back there? Yes. I don't know if I'm ready to go back there. We got a great guest, though. Our guest today came in third place on season 9 of Last Comic Standing. She's been on Scream Queens. She's the hilarious Andy Erikson. Andy, thank you for joining us. How are you?
I can't believe you brought a comedian on the show, told them they couldn't talk while you talked about trying out a stripper pole. That was torture.
Sorry.
Have you ever tried one? Have you ever been to like this stripper pole dancing class or anything like that?
I mean, I've tried one like on a bus or like a train. It's pretty hard, mostly just when people are watching. That's what makes it hard. You kind of got to go late at night. Yeah, I like being alone. I like that plan.
Yeah,
I didn't have that problem. I just had one fat cat watching me.
And cats are so judgy. You can just see in their eyes. They're just like, oh, you suck.
Oh my gosh.
So the very mean cat stripper. Like, do you want to dance or not? Like, I wasn't really welcoming.
Like a whole audience of cats. And I also thought it'd be funny if at your funeral, instead of giving the eulogy, they said, well, we'd like to deliver the eulogy in the form of dance. And
a pole like drops from the
church. I mean, I'm excited. Let's do it.
We are gathered here today to talk about Matchbox 20 and Rob Thomas. Andy, you picked the song. This is a strange one. Like, I was kind of surprised. I was like, who wants to talk about Matchbox 20? Why Matchbox 20?
Yes.
Okay, so this is just weird to me because I went through a bunch of songs and I was like, I want a song that has super meaningful lyrics and is super like poetic and edgy, but like for like a tween, you know? like I don't know. But this song means a lot to me because growing up, this was the first song it's the first song on the album. And my dad loved this album, so we would listen to it all the time. So every time we got in the car, this was the first song we heard because it would just play.
Oh my gosh.
I know, it's just kind of weird. And then he had different phases, but this was a phase. And I always wanted to impress my dad.
Yeah.
By liking what he liked. So I don't, maybe I just need to learn more. Once we go through these lyrics, I'll know more about my dad.
Oh, I like this exploration of our parents through the songs they loved.
Why? But I love it. It right away, dun, 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 like it starts and you know what song it is, and you're just like, yeah.
I feel like that's something that Matchbox 20 and Rob Thomas does well, though, is the first drop beats of his songs, you know, like what the song is.
Yeah. I don't like mystery. I don't like a.
You don't like Locomotive Breath by Jethro Tull. Takes way too long to get into it. All right, let's get into these lyrics, Ben.
Yes.
Here we go.
Well, I wonder what it's like to be the rainmaker. I wonder what it's like to know that I made the rain.
Well, I wonder what it's like to be a rainmaker. I wonder what it's like to know that I made the rain. This song, I've heard it so many times. There's like every time now and again we have these songs where like I read the lyrics and I can't help but get into the rhythm of the song or try to sing it. Like I can't read it flatly. Like I have to put the Rob Thomas growling inflections on it somehow.
I'd store it in boxes with little yellow tags on every one. And you could come and see that when I'm done.
I'd store it in boxes with little yellow tags on every one. You can come see them when I'm done. When I'm done. This
Question.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is he putting the rain in little boxes with tags?
Yeah. It's putting the rain in little boxes with tags. It's what Rob Thomas does.
Okay.
He's selling them on Etsy. But what I like is that because it can be hard to understand a song, so it's like the lyrics. Well, I wonder what it's like to be a rainmaker. You might be thinking like, wait, what's a rainmaker? And he answers it in the next sentence. Know what it's like if I made the rain.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like literally reinforcing it. It's like, no, a literal rainmaker, not a guy who makes a lot of money. Like, I mean,
yeah, exactly. I'm not making it rain. I'm making it like make you wet from the sky from clouds. Yeah.
Make you wet from the sky.
I should write lyrics. I know.
Rob Thomas summons the weather. Rain dancing Rob Thomas. I'm sure he's done that before. So he goes, I wonder what it's like to be a superhero. And by the way, I listened to the song again this morning. The inflection that he puts on, I wonder what it's like to be a superhero, is the most like late 90s white guy thing I think I've ever heard. Like all of a sudden I was drunk on natural light instantly again. This song takes me back to like those parties that we used to go to in like people's first apartments. You know what I mean? Like the all bills paid, where there's 17 roommates, ice cream with a weird kind of glaze over the top of it. Everybody drinking out of the same 18 pack. It really brought me back to my table waiting days. It absolutely did. Like, it's the only thing I think about. It's like I hear this song, just like I'm back in my Olive Garden uniform.
Andy, what about you? Hold on. I was going to ask you guys. This is a game I play with my 7-year-old son because, you know, he's super into superheroes, and it's always, which would you be? Which power would you have?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
What's yours, Ben? I'll ask you first. If you could have a superhero power, which one would it be?
Oh, invisibility. It would.
You took mine. Okay, before we go to Andy, why?
You can do a lot more with invisibility. You can certainly make yourself rich. You can be a little pervy. There's lots of fun you can have with invisibility.
What about you, Andy?
I mean, there's so many, but one, like, I would like, firstly, to feel no pain. No pain. And I'd also like, I'm just gonna have, it'll be one big power. I'd also like the ability to know the truth like just to know the truth.
That's what I want in the afterlife. That's what I want in death. I want immediate truth of everything that's I've ever questioned. Yes, that's a good 100%.
One. I would like to just know like what any like mystery that's unsolved, truth about the universe, truth about someone saying, and I get that there's blurry lines, but like maybe there could be like a disclaimer, like, and then I'd want to be able to like go back in time and relive days.
I want to see myself as a baby. Like that would be so cool. Because I didn't grow up in a time of iPhones, or even my parents couldn't afford like a camcorder. So I have no video of myself as a baby, and I will never know. I'll never see it. And I'm like, I want to know.
See, yeah, we're lucky that my grandma had one, like a VHS recorder, and she got just a ton of random footage of just us just being little shitheads.
I have documented every fucking day of my son's life in photo and video. He's going to know this stuff. And I missed out. I don't get to see it.
I was reading a Rolling Stone article about Rob Thomas this morning, and he apparently showed the writer a DVD. He's like down in his recording studio showing the Rolling Stone writer around, and he pops a DVD into the player because this is like DVD era. And it's his old family videos. He goes, yeah, I just like to watch this to remind myself of who I am, or something artsy like that. But his family is in South Carolina. He grew up like a redneck, apparently, like a proper poor Southerner. You know, his grandma owned a corner store that she would sell, like White Lightning out of, illegal booze.
Oh, nice.
His grandma was an alcoholic. His mother was an alcoholic. His aunt ended up dating a serial killer. Oh. And so apparently these are just like in his home videos. They're just like, yeah, that's the serial killer. That's my drunk grandma. That's my drunk mom. Like,
oh, that's fun.
Fun and scary. That's where the growl comes from. Like, yeah, we knew he was a little weird.
Oh, that's good dirt, Ben. That's good tea.
Sorry to go off the rails there.
Well, I was just going to say he was interviewed, and when Larry King asked him in 2017 what superpower he wished he had, and he said, I wish I had the ability that at least one day a week I could eat whatever I want and have no calories. And I was like, what a lady wish.
I have that superpower.
Yes, you do.
That's amazing. I keep wanting someone to just dare me to eat a whole box of Oreos, because then I feel like I'd have to do it. You dared me, but like no one will dare me. Okay, I'll do it.
Let's have a contest to see who can do it the fastest.
Yes, this is amazing.
Like the people that have the hot dogs and they dunk them in like water to make it. We'll just be shoving them in milk and shoving them in our mouths.
That sounds so fun. Can we do that?
Disgusted Ben looks right now.
What's the grossest thing that you would eat, like as a kid, or like your unhealthiest? Because I was talking to someone once who said that they used to pour Dr. Pepper on like Fruit Loops. Like they would eat sugary breakfast cereal with Dr. Pepper as the. Yeah, I'm just like, you're nuts. You are insane.
Dr. Pepper's not even good.
Yeah,
I don't like to
agree with you.
I don't like soda. Yeah. I had an ex, and this was so horrifying, but then he got me into it. Sorry about my blinking lights. I can't fix them. He would make ramen and then pull out the noodles and put them on a piece of bread and make like a ramen carb on carb sandwich. And I was horrified, and then I started doing it.
Oh my God. One time I dropped a cookie on the floor, and I was like, oh dang, it's dirty. So I like rinsed it off with water, not realizing like, oh, it's going to get soaked with water, but it ended up tasting really good.
Okay, what kind of
like mushy cookies.
Soggy cookie.
What happens in your mouth? All right.
That's true.
All right, let's keep going.
I wonder what it's like to be a superhero. I wonder where I'd go if I could fly around downtown. Yeah, from some other planet, I'd get this funky high on a yellow sun. Boy, I bet my friends would all be stunned. Yeah, they would be. I used to think about that when I was 11 or 12.
Yeah.
If you had those would you keep it a secret? I'd probably keep it a secret. I'd keep it a secret for as long as I could.
Oh, I got to show my best friend. Got to show my best friend.
I got to show my cat, you know. See what
I think I'm the kind of jerk who wouldn't share it with anybody. Like I would just fly around by myself. Like, no thanks, nobody needs to see this.
No, I'm a
It's
show
my
off.
own thing. Yeah.
I'm tapping on everyone's window like, bitch, look at me. I don't know why I love the line. I just like the way he delivers funky high on a yellow sun. I don't even know what that means, if it's a Superman thing, but get this funky high on a yellow sun. I don't know why I love it.
Yeah, Superman draws his strength from the sun, right? Doesn't he? Dorks? Somebody answer me. I'm sure he does.
I think.
Yeah, I think he draws his energy from the sun. I'm pretty sure about that. We're gonna check in with big Superman fan Scott White as soon as we get off here. Scott's gonna tell us, but yeah, Superman draws his power from the sun. That's a true thing. Do you, and me? And then it goes into his. I wonder what it's like to be the head honcho.
Wait.
I wonder.
You skipped the chorus.
Oh, I skipped the whole chorus. Yeah. Oh, there's no way that I can say this without singing it. Should we do it together?
Straight up, what did you hope to learn about here? If I was someone else, would this all fall apart? Strange, where were you when we started this game? I wish the real world would just stop hassling me.
Straight up, what did you hope to learn about here?
I was someone else, would this all fall apart? Strange, where were you when we started this gig? I wish the real
world would just stop hassling me.
I think that's the line that turned me against Rob Thomas from the start.
What?
I really do. Just because the thought of just that young guy just like, I wish the real world would just stop hassling me, man. It was just like, it didn't, like, I probably heard this song when I was 16 or 17, and it just didn't land on me right because I was in full, like, precocious teen mode, you know? Like, it just, I don't know what I was on the lookout for, but something about it, it just landed in my ear. Like, just the idea of just like, yo, you want the real world to stop hassling you? It won't, man. It just won't.
Won't, man. You gotta feel your pain and live your life.
Yeah.
get with it, get a real job.
So I never really thought that much about it until today. I was reading and then I was like, wait a minute, is he saying, because I think we've all been there, he wants to stay living in his fantasy world. And then sometimes like you just get like, I don't know, maybe you're having like a great dream and then you wake up and you're like, fuck, it's time to make the donuts. None of that was real, you know? Yeah. Like I get when you're just like really just having a good time living in a fantasy world and then like the real world breaks in your door and you're like, I don't wanna.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
It's like we're all harsh and Rob Thomas is mellow, man.
What about you, Andy?
He just wants to like paint or like make art or like dance in the real world.
On a stripper pole.
Yeah, he just wants to
in front of a cat.
Yeah, I feel that.
Well, I wonder what it's like to be the head honcho. I wonder what I'd do if they all did just what I said. Well, I'd shout out an order. I think we're out of this, man. Lyrics are just so goofy. Like,
I think we're out of this, man. Get me some.
No, look, because it's written by this like 25-year-old guy who has like no idea what, you know, somebody in charge of a corporation or who has a real job would do. Like,
hey, go get me some. It's funny. I think it. Yeah, he's a comedian.
I think he's thinking of like the head honcho of a Whataburger.
Exactly. It's like the person with the most responsibility he's ever come across. It's like the assistant manager of Kentucky Fried Chicken. Like, I think we're out of this, man.
We're in the bathroom, man. Go get it.
Don't make me want to change my tone.
Yeah, get me some. Boy, don't make me change my tone. My tone.
That reminds me of my dad when he'd be angry with us and we'd be like, stop yelling at us, you know, and he'd be like, you think I'm yelling? This is yelling. And then he would really yell. It was always like, he always did that. It was like a bit, like his like angry dad bit.
Well, yeah. And I like, so, you know, as every generation, we're trying to learn how to be better parents. And like, you know, my dad would just yell and that's what you got. or when they've had enough. And then I grew up with that, so I feel it, but I'm also trying to be better. And so like I'll yell, and then I'm like, I'm so sorry. Like I have to apologize to him, and I'll be like, Mommy didn't mean to yell, but do you see how mad you made Mommy? And then I had to yell, and now I'm sorry. I'm trying to control my temper. So my kids just get knocked around like, what are you mad? What's going on?
I believe my dad apologized to me once. And it was when I wore his winter boots to school, and I left them there, and he needed them for hunting, and he couldn't get his boots, and he was so mad at me, and I felt so bad, and he yelled at me, and I felt so bad. And then my mom talked to me, came in, he opened it, was like, I just wanted to say that I'm sorry. And it was I was like, like he did, he told me, he said he was sorry, and I was like, all right.
It's a nice moment. We're learning that like you can blow up, but they're like recovery is important. Like if you tell them and show them like, oh, you could have lost it there, which I don't think my dad.
I think the living in fear is what's so scary. And that's why, have you guys read Brene Brown, The Daring Greatly and Vulnerability?
Haven't read the book. I love her. I've read all the quotes, but I haven't read the book. No.
Yeah, she has a TED Talk. They're amazing. I was just listening to one earlier today too, about just being vulnerable and being okay with being vulnerable. But what helped my dad actually is he read the book Don't Sweat the Small Stuff, and like completely changed like the way he viewed things. And like
I love hearing stories like that, because they always say people can't change. I'm like, yes, they can easily. They just, when you twist their perspective just a little bit in a way they've never seen, it's absolutely definitely change.
Totally. And he was very logical. So like he read this book that kind of gave him techniques, and he applied them, and like was just a totally different person.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah. So anyway,
you can do that.
I think my dad probably connected with.
It's good that he can do that, because I think there's a faction amongst, like, particularly among men, where we see change as weakness. Like the idea of changing your personality, even positively, is just like, no, I am rigid. I am perfect the way I am. I don't need to.
It's very egocentric. And you're just like, oh, no, I'm great. Just like me. Everybody else needs to change.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah.
You need to match my vibrations.
Yeah, exactly.
My dad's big curse word was, he's from Northern Ireland, so he's got a big, thick Irish accent. He would always say, "Gastruth." That was his curse word, as he would like throw a tool across the garage. "Gastruth."
I want to say
we were all like, I have 2 brothers and a sister, and we were like adults. Like we were sitting around the kitchen table, and we finally figured out that he was saying God's truth. Like, I mean, we were literally like in our 30s. He'd been saying it our whole lives. Like, oh my God, that's what it is. It's God's truth.
Interesting. But is it like the GD word here? Like, is it like in Northern Ireland, is he like hitting the GD pretty hard, or is it like golly wiggles?
I think it's more like golly wiggles. I think it's a sort of like a safe way to curse around your kids.
I need to learn other language curse words, because my kid is a swear police right now. Like he's like, "Ooh, you said this. Ooh, you said this." And so if I just start doing it in other languages, I can just do it, and he can't call me out.
Do what I do and curse like an evil wizard. It's so much fun. You're just like, orphan's blood.
That's fun.
All right.
Reagan's taco. Sounds like a spell.
That's awesome.
Or you can curse like a summer camp supervisor, like a Bible camp, where you're just like, "Oh, hot toothpaste."
I'm gonna make a list and I'm gonna learn them. All right.
Where are we? We just did the chorus, right? Do you, and me. All right. So he's always the head honcho. That's right. No, we're just back. All right. He does the chorus, and then it's the breakdown where he goes, "Please don't change. Please don't break. Well, the only thing that seems to work at all is you. Please don't change at all. For me to you, and you to me." Kind of a weird song. Like, honestly, like obviously.
It took a sharp turn. Like, wait, who are we talking to now? Is this?
Yeah, it really did. It's almost like he's living in this fantasy world to escape the reality that he's in, and now all of a sudden he's begging his lover or begging his friend not to, just to stay real with him, I guess.
Hold on, I want to back up. There's something, we went right into the real world. Stop hassling me. The line straight up, "What did you hope to learn about here?" That's another thing. Who is he talking to? Like, what? Like, I'm so baffled by this.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird because it's almost like the game that we were playing, where it's almost like a get to know you exercise. Where like if you could change something about yourself, what would you be? Well, I'd like to be the rainmaker. You know, I'd like to be a superhero. I'd like to be the head. I'd like to be the boss man.
Oh my God, is he doing 15 minutes of dating? You know, they do speed dating. Is this what he says to the girl? I want to make the rain. I want to fly around downtown. What did you want to learn about here?
I think it's definitely like that. And I also think that he must have like throwaway verses as well. You know, like as he was working on it, there's no way he just like landed on these three. There must be ones who like, well, I wonder what it's like to be a dog catcher. And like the guys in the band would be like, Rob, that ain't resonating, man.
I wonder what it's like to be a
bank teller. Bank teller, I think, is the worst job. That has to be the worst job, right? Because there's nothing new. Like all you're doing is just cashing checks. Like there's nothing else. Nothing. The only good thing that could happen, maybe you get robbed. Like you must walk in every day and go, maybe today's the day. Hopefully today's the day somebody
I hope I get robbed today.
I feel like bank tellers are always really hot women, and they always have their nails done with bracelets that clank on the, like when you go in to do a check and don't use the teller, and they're always like chewing gum at the side of their mouth, and then like clanking on the keys, and their bracelets are clanking on. And maybe this is just every bank I've ever been to. Like hot women, like, I'll get that for you. And then I think it's exciting because they get to know who's fucking loaded in the neighborhood. Yeah. Like who's rich and who's like scraping by the skin of their teeth every week.
They got to know me as every time I came in to try to challenge my overdrafts. Please, I'll sign up for your credit card. Just take this $30 away.
Here she comes.
Yeah. And I signed up for a checking account just to get free tickets to Jingle Ball, KDWB, or like our local, like, do you guys have Jingle Ball?
No. What is Jingle Ball?
It's like pop songs. Every holiday they'll do like a Christmas themed huge event at the stadium, you know, with like Boys to Men and Backstreet Boys and like, well, at the time, you know, the big bands and stuff. So I was like, I gotta go to Jingle Ball. So open up a bank account. I got to see Smash Mouth. Uncle Cracker.
Uncle Cracker, that's great.
Yeah, I want to brag.
That's the best reason I've ever heard for opening up a bank account. You weren't trying to be responsible for the first time in your life.
You know, next year it was like a beanbag chair. Keep opening up bank accounts.
You have them in like every bank in your city.
Yeah.
Okay. Rob Thomas has a beanbag chair. I'm certain of it. He strikes me as a beanbag chair kind of guy. This song was written in a beanbag chair.
Or a Papazon chair. Do you remember those? I want one so bad. Do you know what I'm talking about? It's like a half circle.
Yeah, I had one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, I do want one of those again. You're right. Okay, we're going to IKEA right after this.
Wait, again, that means that you threw it away or gave it away?
I think I probably abandoned it, actually. I've had to flee a few apartments, Andy. I think I left it under cover of darkness.
Okay.
I got bad news for you guys. My check is not going to be in the mail. I am out.
Yeah, the Papazons would break too. I mean, they look like they're made out of like bamboo or something. I don't know, but I feel like they get in like, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so please don't change. Please don't break. The only things that seem to work at all is you. Is this okay? Is now he being real with a woman? Do you guys?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he's doing like that lyrical device where like he's imagining himself as a different person, but then coming back to it and just saying, look, like all of that is ridiculous. The only thing that works for me is you. Don't change a damn thing about yourself.
Okay.
Like it could be taken like to the higher level. It's just like I'll become a superhero. I'll become the boss. Like there's a lot about me that needs to change, but you don't have to. You're perfect.
Oh.
It's kind of sweet that way. I think that's what he's doing.
That would work if like I was gonna break up with someone and they were like, please don't change, please don't break. The only thing that seems to work at all is you. I'd be like, oh God.
Okay.
I'm amazing.
You got me. Tell me I'm perfect.
I'm amazing.
One more time. Okay, you got me.
I am amazing, but this guy is awful, and he does need to go.
Is Rob Thomas awful?
I don't think he's awful. I think he's just kind of dull. You know,
Dull.
like I read a bunch of interviews with him, and he just doesn't seem to like. He just seems like every pothead that you meet when you were 20. But
I will say, I think he's funny. He was on a show. Was it Always Sunny in Philadelphia, where him and Sinbad were? God, I think I'm getting the show wrong. Anyway, somebody was hallucinating, and they were in like a mental hospital, and they were hallucinating, thinking they were in a mental hospital with Sinbad and Rob Thomas. But I think it wasn't actually them, but it was them playing in the scene, and it was very funny, and he was very comedically funny in the show.
yeah. That's a hilarious combo. You would. It's the weirdest, most esoteric picks ever. Sinbad and Rob Thomas. Do you think we can get him? I don't know. We're up to their agents.
He's the quietest ex-comic. I mean, is he doing anything? My parents had Sinbad 1 hour specials on VHS tape, and I loved Sinbad, dude. He made me laugh really hard.
Yeah, I wanted Sinbad's pants when I was a kid, for sure.
I still want them. They could be my jams when I'm going to bed at night. So comfy.
So I Googled I just Googled Rob Thomas. That's it. And one of the things like, oh, did you mean to say, is Rob Thomas a nice guy? So maybe my computer's listening to me, which, or maybe a lot of people are wondering that exact same thing. But the first article that comes up says, Rob Thomas, you see, is a nice guy.
Maybe that's the problem, Ben. There's no dirt to dig up on him. There's no fights like, Axl Rose has tried to fight everybody.
He hates Third Eye Blind.
Ooh, that's right.
Absolutely hates Third Eye Blind. What's the name of the lead singer from Third Eye Blind? Something with, oh my God. I
think Andy's on it.
Yeah.
I'm Googling Carlos Santana. I'm going down. Sorry, guys. I'm done with the podcast. I got some research to do.
Like
Andy's check it out.
You guys don't mind. Hold on.
No, I guess they had some.
Well, you know what? Is it because people confuse Matchbox 20 with Third Eye Blind? Because I think
I'm sure it is. Yeah, I'm sure it's that late 90s pop rock
duo of Stephen Jenkins and Kevin Cadogan. I don't know how to say his name.
Stephen Jenkins, that's who it is. Yeah, that's the guy. I don't know, but they have I didn't see anything coming from the Stephen Jenkins camp, but every article that I read about Rob Thomas, he had to slip in a jab at Stephen Jenkins, saying that the guy literally has no soul. Like at one point, he's just like, you are just a living, breathing, walking hunk of cheese.
Ooh. This sounds like personal, like he doinked a girlfriend or something of his. Like
it does kind of sound personal, but it also sounds like they're probably just like music critics and everybody just like lumped Third Eye Blind and Matchbox 20 into the same box because they belong in the same box. They just didn't want to be filed next to that guy was the impression that I got. It's like, no, like maybe I would like you a little bit better if we weren't so similar.
Yeah.
It's that kind of thing. If we weren't so alike, I'd like you a whole lot more.
Yeah, everybody wants to be unique. You hate hearing like, oh, you look and sound just like someone else. You're like, no, me.
Yeah. I'm my own thing.
All right. Was that the end of the lyrics? Pretty much at the end, he's like, I wish the real world would just stop hassling me over and over and over.
Yeah. That's it. And then, so he had, I was kind of surprised at how many Matchbox 20 hits they had prior to Smooth. Like I didn't realize like he really went on a lot, like 3 a.m. push. Real World. What was the other big one? He had like 4 or 5 really big ones, and then Smooth just put him into the stratosphere.
Is that weird that I don't know Smooth?
You don't know Smooth?
I'm sure. I'm sure I would recognize it, but I maybe just listened to this album.
Oh. So on this album was Push and 3 a.m. on this album? Mm-hmm. Okay. 3 a.m. is a big one. And I found some really good info on that one. Let's see, let me read it. Thomas confided on stage that when he looks back now on the songs that he wrote when he was younger, the only one he thinks he has stood the test of time is 3 a.m., written about his anxieties over his sick mother. Rob was 12 when his mother was diagnosed with cancer and originally given 6 months to live. She beat the cancer and made a full recovery. So I'm like, oh, now I want to go listen to 3 a.m. again.
No.
Yeah, I did not know that's what it was about.
Yeah.
No, I didn't either.
It's really sweet. But yeah, I think if you didn't know Matchbox 20 or Rob Thomas before, once Smooth came out with Carlos Santana, I mean, there was no escaping it.
Yes, and I do know it. Yep. Because my dad
Give
loved
me your
Carlos.
heart, make it real, or else forget about it.
Just forget about it.
Yes.
Yeah, speaking of, there's no Tommy Stinson with Jeremy Essig this week. He's just got a crazy schedule, but he told us, he was like, obviously it goes through Santana. It would go that direction.
Yeah, that's all starting to make sense why we listen to so much Santana and so much Matchbox 20. I didn't really know that. Yeah, I didn't know anything.
Wasn't that a musical quiz we had one time, like name bands that were named after their guitarist and not like think Van Halen, Santana. That was yeah. Oh, there's got to be more. I think that was it.
Think of one. Yeah.
That's it.
There's got to be one just staring us right in the face.
Ringo.
Bon Jovi. No, that's his name.
Nope.
Yeah. I don't know. All right. Did we do it? Is that all there is to talk about Matchbox 20? Andy, I think I asked you, did you learn anything from reading these lyrics about your dad, do you think?
I mean, I do definitely connect with him being a dreamer and him like having the two sides of like, yeah, he goes to work and he does the work side, but he also like that, like have fun and dream big. Like, but he was also someone who I think he died in a car accident when I was 23, but he had devoted his life to like, in his spare time, he would do what he loved. So he worked like a regular 9-to-5 job, but then he worked it out where he hired someone else to work at his office to sell insurance. And one would work 4 hours in the morning, one would work 4 hours in the night. So they only had to work 4 hours a day. So he would like go golfing and play poker.
That's
and
what
just
you
like,
do. You delegate and then you get to live your life.
Yes, exactly. So,
not every love of music is about lyrics either. Sometimes you're just like, I just want that catchy tune that makes me happy in my soul. It could just be that too. It's a feeling.
Yeah, I'm going through, like, he had a CDs of like all his favorite songs, like and we listen to him all the time. So I just love like his brain, because he would like country. He would always, whenever I'd have friends come over, he would play an Offspring song and then dance on our coffee table like air guitar just to like embarrass them. But like I always thought it was so cool. So like we would all just start playing air guitar. It backfired on him totally. Just trying to embarrass us.
That's really awesome. So you're from Minnesota, right?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Okay. And I, being from the South, I never think of like northern states as like in country, but like there's a lot of rural Minnesota, like country is there, correct?
Oh yeah. We listen to a ton, like the Reba McEntire and like
yeah, there was no escaping Reba in my home, but I did not know she infiltrated Minnesota.
Oh my gosh, when me and my sister were younger, we heard that country wasn't cool. I'm so sorry. And like, so we were in like a band, a bunch of my girlfriends, and we said, no country, guys, no country. It's only Spice Girls and Hanson and Backstreet Boys. So like my sister, we found out later, would hide underneath her bed with her little cassette tape and listen to country under her bed.
Oh, the shame.
She listened to like Dixie Chicks and stuff. It was just like so weird. But now I love it. Oh my God. The other day too, me and my husband went to a gas station. They had a poster of Lee Brice. He's a country singer. I don't know how famous he is, but they had a cutout of him. And we're like, look at this guy cut out at the gas station. We're like, let's download one of his songs. And so like we went on Spotify, listened to it, and we were like making fun of it and just like, haha. And now we turn it on all the time and rock out to it.
Looking at each other like, yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, I know it. It totally happened. We're like, no. So yeah, now we're Lee Brice fans because of a gas station cutout.
Well, that's perfect. That leads me into my next question, my favorite part. Andy, do you have a guilty pleasure song?
Okay, so this one might not be, I don't know. I guess I don't know. It's not maybe what you would historically think of a guilty pleasure song, but maybe it is because I'm such a huge dork. But do you guys know the soundtrack to Harry Potter movies?
I just kind of started getting my son into them.
Yeah.
So I think I will soon, but
Totally.
no, I don't know them now.
So the first song on like the first album by John Williams is Hedwig's theme, and it's the and it takes you through, and it's just like I listen to it and I just feel like, oh, just like magical and mystery. And I love turning it on when I'm like writing, like if I'm writing jokes or comedy or just like, I don't know, turn it on to, it's not really dance music, but yeah. And there's no lyrics. And I originally was going to pick that song for this. And then I was like, oh, wait. What would we do? But yeah.
Guys, we're going to talk about how we feel in this part of the song.
Yes. So it's great. Those books were such a huge part of my child. My dad read me the first one when I was in 4th grade. He read me a Harry Potter book.
Yeah. It's a popular thing to do with parents. And I loved chapter books like that when I was young. Me and my mom would snuggle down and then she would just, a chapter at a time or whatever. And then there was that anticipation that you learned about reading, like for like, okay, tomorrow night, you know? That's great.
That's so cool. See, I think that's a sign. That's how I knew I had good parents, is that they read to us. Cause like, I get when you're little, you read like little books, but like to read to like I don't know, like a 10-year-old. And he read Help, I'm Trapped in My Gym Teacher's Body.
Yeah.
And then he was like, okay, we read your books. And then he read me Louis L'Amour. Like they're Westerns.
Okay.
Yeah. So just read.
I found a bunch of choose your own adventure books for my son. Like, because
I loved those when I was a kid.
So good. Like, and you know, my son immediately did what we all do, is like stick your finger in the one page and then you turn and you see the end and you're like, oh God, we die in this one. Hold on. And then go back and do the other one. Like they're so good.
It is. Books are, I encourage everyone. Music is so good. Books are so good. Like art is so good. Like TV is really good too, but I think there's something special about books.
You gotta read to those kids. You gotta read to, and it's so hard as parents. Like I'm such a stickler about it. I will not stop. But at night is when my brain is fried. I'm complete toast. And my husband and I take turns reading to him. And when it's my turn to read, it's kind of like but it's also like I do it because I'm like, it's so important to me that he develops a love for reading, and it helps their imagination and learning like rhythm, especially the books that rhyme when they're younger. Like, I just think it's so important. And I don't even know when I'll quit. Like, I'm like you said 4th grade, he started reading Harry Potter. I'm trying to make Charlie read himself, but then like the bigger books, I'm like, I'm still going to read chapters to him. Yeah.
It's fun. And like we would read, and then my dad would like act out some of the like battle scenes and would just get like really excited. And yeah, it's just looking back, just like, oh, he's such a dork. But like,
it's great though. It's good stuff. Good memories.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, Ben, is that it? Have we Matchbox 20'd?
I think we have mined the matchbox. Yes.
That's awesome. All right, Andy, this was an absolute pleasure. But before we let you go, please tell our listeners where they can see and hear more of you.
Yeah, so if you Google Andy Erikson, ANDYERIKSON, I've got my comedy special on Dry Bar you can watch.
Yay!
Which is so fun. I've got a blog where I write jokes, and I'm going to be at Acme Comedy Club for their 30th anniversary show on Wednesday, November 3rd. So you can come get tickets and hang out, and
Yay! I started watching Scream Queens. I don't know what season you're on, and I'm just like, I want to be surprised. I don't know when you're gonna pop on.
Okay. Well, it's season 2, but the first season is so good, and then I'm like partway through the second season. I come on for like 3 or 4 episodes. Yeah, it's.
Do you want to talk about that experience for a second? Was that fun?
It was a dream. So I'm not an actress. Like I'm a comedian, right? They found me on Twitter. The casting director brought me in. I did my audition, was like, oh, I probably didn't get it. And like went camping, and then they couldn't get a hold of me because I'm like, oh, yeah, camping. And they brought me in. They're like, yeah, you got the part. You're booked, a recurring guest star. And I was like, what? So like my very first audition, I book a recurring guest star part. I had, and then they found me on Twitter. So it's just like, and the part was basically written for me. They didn't know who I was, but it was for a character who was like really tall and had Marfan syndrome, which I have, and there's like physical like signs and stuff of it. So they wanted someone who had it. Yeah, and like gangly.
So they talk about that on the oh, interesting.
Yeah, well, they make fun of me for having it.
That's a perfect bit.
Yeah, well, in the show, the humor is very like dark, and they tease me about it, but I don't care. Like I tease myself, so it's yeah, but it's really fun. So I get to be the tall. They bring me on as one of the. I don't want to ruin it, but yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, no, I'm so excited.
It's pretty fun, and maybe I die too, and maybe that's exciting. Maybe.
I've always fantasized about like my dying scene in a movie. Like, can I pull it off? And I got to do one in a short film. I got to die. A zombie eats me. But
that's so cool.
Oh, that's really fun.
Yeah. So I recommend it. If anyone wants to be an actress, it's really easy. Just go on Twitter. They'll find you and you'll audition, and yeah.
It's great that you actually have like that showbiz miracle story. Like everybody else has like, oh, we went out there and they kicked the shit out of me for a while and I had to come back home. Like, they just found me. Like,
yeah,
that's the big joke. Like you arrive in Los Angeles, it's like, well, I'm here. Who wants to use me? Like, nobody wants you. We've got plenty.
Well, and then I tried doing it afterwards, where I went on a few auditions and they went well and I got some good feedback, but I was just like, all the work I would put into like doing my hair and makeup and driving an hour and then waiting there for an hour and then coming home and then not getting it. I was like, oh, I don't love this enough. I'd much rather be driving to a gig and know that I get to do the gig when I get there.
Yeah. Like, yeah, I think about people who work on these shows and do like all this stuff and then like their part gets cut or I mean, I was just like, oh, I don't know if I could survive that.
Yeah, I had some lines get cut, but I was just so happy to be there. And like they filmed, so they do like they block it and then they do the camera to make sure they have it, and then they get it. But like, so we blocked it and then we did it again. And I was like, okay, cool. And then they were like, all right, we got it, moving on. And I was like, what? You were filming? I thought I wasn't. And they were just laughing at me like, what? And I was like, see, I have no idea. You Google like, what is it like? What is acting?
What is you acting?
How a line do? Good.
How did you learn? Because there's a lot of like technical, like people think that actors have no talent whatsoever, but there's real technical, hitting your marks, standing in the right light, not looking at all the little shit. Like you need a whole lot of practice, otherwise you'll look like an amateur and the show won't be any good. Like, did you take a class or?
I had taken commercial acting classes and improv, and I've been doing stand-up for a long time, and I'd acted in some indie projects. So I had learned how you say about looking towards the camera or like cheating towards it. I did. I was a part in a small indie movie, and afterwards people were like, we couldn't see your face. And I was like, oh, right. And even on projects like this, like they will give you notes, but a lot of times the directors, they just kind of trust you and you kind of do it. And they only give you feedback if it was bad. So it's like, it could have been better. Like if I was more trained, I'm sure I could have done a ton better, but you just kind of do it and move on. You gotta be quick.
Yeah.
And the other actresses helped me. And like, I read a bunch of blogs.
That's awesome. Yeah. I mean, I think the hardest part is like, don't choke when they say action.
You don't want to be the reason why they're being held up. It's so much pressure and you have to deliver your lines. And some of them they did one where it was like a moving camera that captured about like a 1.5-minute sequence. And I was in charge of like playing like with this spinny thing and like roll. It was like a hula hoop thing. I had to roll it across and time it right. And I was like, oh God, this is so much pressure, but it's not live. So I love that about acting, where it's like the pressure was definitely off. Whereas like when I did Last Comic Standing or my comedy special, you have to get it right. You don't have another chance.
Nerve-wracking. For being like perfect is like there's a forgiveness in acting, like cut, do it again.
Yep.
There's no cut, doing it again.
There's no cut, do it again. Nope.
Yeah.
It was a fun, and I I have so much respect for actors, because like getting to see people who were really good and it didn't feel like work. You could tell they put in the work and did really good. I still think it's a hard job. But it's also like, it's not as hard as a lot of other jobs, but it still is. It's a different type of work, and it's a mental work too. Like, it's stressful.
Yeah.
Yeah. I respect
I'm always amazed by the actors who can play a scene like 3 distinctly different ways. Like they don't change the words or anything like that, but they change the tone. And like I forget what movie it was that I was reading. Like the director really didn't have it in his head whether he like how broad he wanted the comedy to be, or like, so he was literally like asking his actors to do, okay, we're going to do it. This is going to be the broad comedy, and this is going to be sort of like the serious, subtle comedy. And when I get in the editing room, I'll figure out what this movie even feels like. Like he didn't know what the tone of the thing was going to be.
I think it was Pretty Woman. Did they talk about
it was. Yes.
The movies that made us? I watched that.
That's where I saw it. Yep.
When they were exclaiming that, because I've done some editing too, I'm like, what a nightmare to have so many things to choose from, but also genius.
Yeah. Yeah. Gives you like a buffet to choose from and be like, okay, this works. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I need to watch that show. I've been seeing that on, and I need to watch it. I just watched the documentary or whatever on Hulu they did on MTV, like the beginning of MTV. And dude, for our age group, watch it. It's seeping in so much nostalgia, because you're like, I lived through it with you. Like, I was the fan who started with you. And then like when they got bought by Viacom, and then the real world started, and like everything started to change. It's great. It's a great documentary. You should.
I will love that.
Yeah.
I am making a note.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Andy. I really appreciated talking to you. Thanks for spending time with us.
Yeah, this is fun. What a great podcast. This is really fun.
Thank you so much. And I forgot to say happy Halloween, everybody. This came out right after Halloween. I hope everybody got full on candy, and go watch Scream Queens.
Yeah, watch Scream Queens. Really fun. I had such a blast.
Is that Pikachu?
Yeah.
I don't know my Pokemon very well yet.
You got to know this one.
Okay. All right. I think my kid's like real close to getting into that, so I'm going to have to learn.
Yes. Get them in.
All right. Thank you so much, Andy. We'll tag you and everything.
Thanks, Andy. She's adorable.
That's awesome. That was so good. So next week, Ben,
we're doing Iggy Pop. I don't know what song we're gonna do, but it's time for Iggy.
So do you have any thoughts like rolling around in your brain? Like, are you down?
I just want to go roll around in some broken glass. I want to do some heroin and some steroids, and do a lot of push-ups.
Okay.
And then I want to walk on people's heads.
Okay.
I just want to go full on Iggy Pop. I want to immerse myself in him.
Oh, dude, Corbin's going to be so excited. I love an Iggy episode. We considered naming Charlie Iggy at one point. So.
Oh, really?
I kind of wish we had. He looks like an Iggy.
I think Iggy Pop lurks in every man's heart. I really do think that like we look at pictures of Iggy Pop and just go, yeah, that's a goal.
Yeah. I saw him once. I got to see him once. And dude, I don't know if it's drugs, I don't know if it's natural energy, but they're like Iggy Pop, and he flies onto stage, and he has this level of energy, and it stays the whole time. It's great. He opens with Lust for Life, or at least he did that show. It's pretty great. Pretty great.
How good of a performer do you have to be for David Bowie to come see your show and go, that's how I want to do it?
Like, I didn't know that.
Yeah, Bowie based. We'll do the research, but okay. One of Bowie's iconic characters is 100% based on Iggy Pop. Yeah. Ziggy Stardust, of course.
Okay.
Iggy.
Iggy. Oh God. Okay. All right. Save it for the pod.
Did we do it? We did it.
We did it.
Vogue.
1, 2, 3.
Rock the Cash Bar is produced by Diane Gallagher. Music by Chuck Savage and Eddie Hawkins. Special thank you to Jeremy Essig for 6 Degrees of Tommy Stinson, and to Sara Wessling for the Guilty Pleasures vocals. Our website is rockthecashbarpodcast.com, and there you can find links to our Spotify playlist and to our Patreon. Thank you for tuning in, and we will see you next week.